All right, welcome to the Dark Wolf MMA Fundamentals series. We thought it was important to put out a series of fundamentals. It's one of those where the term that we're using, fundamentals, it's interchangeable with a lot of different things. It's interchangeable with other words like basics. It's interchangeable with other words, but we think it's more important than just that. So some people, I'll hear them say, oh, I did the fundamental arm bar from class. You do realize there is no fundamental arm bar. The fundamentals are movements, concepts, philosophies, general building blocks that unto themselves may not seem like much. But when we mix them together, we can create the fundamentals of an arm bar, and then all arm bars fall under that category. So there is no fundamental arm bar, there is no fundamental sweep, there is no fundamental, there are fundamentals that again are the basic building blocks that we use, basic motions, concepts, pressures, and the like, that we then mix, match, blend to create arm bars, to create movements, to create general positions. And we can look at some of these things and say, what fundamentals is this achieving, and how do we know that this position works when we go into that motion? So when we go into our fundamentals, it is what we, me, Dark Wolf, what we have selected as what we believe are core principles, core movements that become the foundation by which we're going to build. And if you have difficulty doing some of these motions, then we know maybe some of the higher concepts are going to be a little bit more difficult as well. Now, every class begins with a fundamental. So all classes, by definition, are going to cover the fundamentals. So is a fundamentals class important? You bet it is. Is it the only place that you're going to learn fundamentals? No, it is not. Every class starts with the fundamental that is going to then build off of that fundamental for the rest of the curriculum for that week. So if we're going into arm bars, we're going to go over the fundamentals of what makes an arm bar, the fundamental movements and motions and concepts, and then we're going to build the techniques in that week based off of those fundamentals. So every class will go over the necessary fundamentals for that curriculum. The fundamentals program is designed to accelerate that knowledge, but only that knowledge, to get you the fundamentals in a condensed version so that when you go into perhaps a class, you might already have a pre-knowledge of what that movement's going to be like, what that motion's going to be like, and even some series like this, where you might be able to get some exercise at home and be able to move and get some of this prior knowledge before you even come in to do a single class to help accelerate your learning process when you're going into the core curriculum. So hopefully these videos help. We know it helps us, and we know that every person who has ever gone into one of our fundamentals class, regardless of skill level, has come out with a better understanding of what our fundamentals are, because all fundamentals are not the same. We have a different style and a different belief system when it comes to some of our fundamentals that are different than some of the others that are out there. But it works within our system and our curriculum. And every person who has gone into our fundamentals, regardless of skill level, has always come out with a greater understanding. And then ultimately from there, it then helps everything that they're going to do at that point thereafter. So going back and redoing your fundamentals is always important. And if you're a new student, starting off with a good understanding of the fundamentals is also critically important. But again, I want to throw the invite. If you can make it to our fundamentals class, we would love to have you. But at the same time, always remember, every class begins with the fundamental, and then we will build from there. So either way, we will get fundamental knowledge. Okay? So don't think that you can't go to a core class without going to a fundamentals. And regardless of how good your core skills are, don't believe that going into a fundamentals class will not be valuable for you as well.